What I have here is my adventures in music. I kind of like have always kept this kind of stuff because I'm like, maybe my kids will find this interesting. And I already know they won't. Damien and I pointing to someone taking a picture of us. Damien and I singing into the same mic. There's a laminated ticket for the big show. The first show with split decision became a spectacle.
There's a high school show coming up. They're looking for bands.
Every year there was always a battle of the bands. And that was a big thing to do in the suburbs, you know, is to go and see these battle of the bands.
We saw this opportunity to perform, and we're like, we can pull this off. Something in us said we can do this. So we came up with Split Decision.
And you saw the graphics, the power of 3. So fucking 80s, right?
This was the first show we ever played before. There was that fear. I remember going into that show thinking, like, this could go really bad.
The place was packed. We're a little bit taken back. It's the first time you're in front of that many people.
Things kind of fell in line, and things that we never played right in practice, we played right that night.
Pollard started breaking out of his shell, and he started interacting with the audience, you know, and kind of calling them. And I was like, this guy's doing it. He's doing it.
The crowd was on our side. It was an awesome set list. It was the best and worst night of my life. It was the best night of my life because it made me want to do it for the rest of my life. But that's also what makes it the worst, because I spent my entire life chasing the feeling that I had that night. If it hadn't been so powerful, would my life have continued searching for it in that feeling? I don't know. I just know what happened. It was that night.
It really is the dream show. And I think, especially for Pollard, I felt like, you know, everything else was anticlimactic after that.
Thank you, good night.
Well, I think we've had, let's go in the changing room.
How old were you guys when you met?
I would probably say I'm trying to think, I would probably say I'm either 9 or 10. My mom called up to me, Damien, you have somebody's here to see you. And I came down the stairs, and there was Pollard. And I could have sworn that his fucking eyes were crossed a little bit.
My life was forever changed. Somehow it must have happened instantly that we shared this love of music and that attraction to all things rock and roll.
Don't you cry.
It's hard to think how MFP came about. Like, my dad was a fucking wacko, and he would come home with Helter Skelter, the made-for-TV movie on Charles Manson.
That's funny, that hasn't happened before. My watch stopped.
I turned Pollard onto that because I was traumatized. And I was like, well, you're going to be traumatized too. It was like we became, you know, fascinated with Manson.
My mother didn't like Damien. She was right. He had a lot of bad ideas.
In one of these boxes we have, this box, we have the very first MFP recordings.
So how the initials started, you know, because they've obviously changed. It was Music for People later on, but it was Manson for President.
Well, we got the lead singer and the drummer here.
Tyler reached out to me to play a couple gigs and do some recording. And I said, there's no way I'm playing drums in a band called Manson for President. And he said, well, what if we call it Music for the People? And I said, MFP, Music for the People, I'm in, let's do this.
And I think we had maybe a total of 3 practices, and the second opportunity to play at the high school came. The first show was Split Decision. It was the fucking slam dunk of our lives. But this is my passion project as MFP. Like, I wanted that to be the slam dunk.
So we returned to the school, and it was different. It wasn't split decision.
Everything that could work against you having a successful show in this environment arrived that day. The sound wasn't good. It was so dark. But they thought that, you know, bringing the lights down was the right move. You know, because you can't see anything.
People trickle in, and places half full, and I remember there being a different kind of energy.
The crowd was indifferent. There was no one on their feet. I mean, it was a seated audience. I felt exposed at certain points. I'm like, I'm not a good singer, and now everyone knows it.
I was so little, just terrified. We just wanted to get the fuck out of there.
It was a train wreck.
And what's worse is that happened to MFP for the next 2 shows.
I think the band MFP only played 3 shows.
MFP only played 3 shows, and we were terrible. Every time. Consistently awful.
We weren't good. Here we go.
So what's going on is this. There's a gentleman that we went to high school with. His name was Chris Peck.
Who is Chris Peck? He wouldn't remember me. There's no chance.
I knew Chris Peck, but did I know Chris Peck? Chris Peck was a swimmer, and I remember him being funny. And that's all I remembered.
So I get this direct message from Chris Peck, right? If there's any chance of an MFP reunion, come to Japan. I'll pick up flights and accommodations.
So what does that mean? That means that this gentleman wants to reunite basically my high school band.
In Japan for a reunion show.
Was there any party that's just sort of like, why MFP and why now?
Of course. And I can't answer any of that. Can't answer either one of those questions.
I hadn't seen Chris Peck since I was in high school, but it was a little bit odd that he just called us out of the blue and said, hey guys, get the band back together. I'm flying you to Japan. Are you in? A little bit strange.
As soon as that first message came, I'm like, he just offered this, and we're gonna do it, and it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah. 85 and muggy.
Hey!
I knew him.
Good.
Good to see you. You too. How you doing, sir? Good to see you.
And over here. Hey.
How was the trip?
Long time no see.
It was great.
No, it wasn't. It was miserable.
The guy asked if we'd do it, and within like 10 minutes, I sent each of you a text, and within 2 or 3 minutes, each of you said yes. When?
Yeah, I believed every word of it, and then I immediately thought that, oh, Chris is one of these rich hedge fund guys who just wants to hunt people for fun. And that's what I thought he was trying to trick us to go to Japan so he could hunt us for sport.
I mean, we all considered it.
I deserve to go out like that.
I'm living in San Francisco, Damien's in New York, Andy's in Boston, and Tyler's in New Hampshire. Now, how are we even going to rehearse? I don't want to go to Japan and make an ass of myself. So we had this rare opportunity to sit down, and that's what happened. We hadn't played in almost 30 years.
All right, who's calling it? Who's picking one?
Why don't you call him out, Rob?
Have you ever traveled outside the country?
No.
No?
No, I went to Aruba.
England once, and then I went to Spain. Canada? Does that even count?
The furthest we go for work is New York. And the furthest that Janet and I like to travel is generally California or something easy like Aruba.
I had to get a passport for this. I didn't have a passport. I had no intention of going anywhere.
I think we all realized, how could we possibly say no to this?
I just want to enjoy it, do our thing, and have a great time with my best friends. Friends that I've had for 28 years. So the right key? I have an E.
Do you have a D?
Do you have a D or a G?
C. I have a C.
This might be it.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, maybe a C is better. A C might be better.
2, 3, 4.
Hold on, just for shits, you played an E first?
I played an A first.
Okay, A's no good.
This is the C.
I still think D or G would be the best.
2, 3, 4.
No.
Nope.
That's the one that was on the album.
That makes sense.
Everything great about that recording is Rob Petraci and Dave Craven.
No, it's the 3 Ps, Pollard, Pratt, Patraci. It's the trifecta.
Yeah, there's no offense.
That's fine. I'm the newcomer.
We didn't meet you until a year later.
Yeah.
It was a horrible summer. It was a dark year. We were doing you a favor.
Yeah, these are good.
It was a dark summer. I had most of my growing up in Ohio, outside of Cleveland. Then my dad got a promotion, and we moved to Connecticut.
One of my good friends had mentioned to me, this guy, Andy, moved here from Ohio, and he's a really great bass player. Put him in your band. And I'm like, all right, let's meet him. Where does he live?
One day I just remember getting off, I think I got off the bus.
Damien and I followed the bus until he got dropped off.
Got off the bus, and a car pulled up.
Parked up on the front lawn, and we chased him across the front yard and tackled him.
And they were just like, you know how to play bass? And I was like, yeah. And they just like, you're in our band.
We were always looking out for the misfits. We always gravitated towards the people who didn't fit in. You know, it was like, we love that. And here it is, Andy. He's this cute, doughy face, wearing shorts, a striped shirt, and a fucking jacket vest.
I was a good bass player, but I just didn't look good. I wasn't an athlete. I looked like a fucking stuffed olive.
But I mean, when he said, oh, this is Andy, I said, oh, absolutely. And I just had to take a look at him. I didn't even know if he could fucking play a bass. So I'm like, this is our guy.
Honestly, it probably changed my life for the better. In middle school, I was bullied, and I was overweight, and I didn't have a good time. But I got to kind of rearrange that for high school because I didn't know any of those people anymore, and I had this new life now, and I could be whatever I wanted to be, and what I wanted to be is this guy in this band. They gave me that, and it was definitely a key to high school for me because it would have gone very south otherwise. And they were good guys. They were kind guys. Nuts, but kind. Is it here?
Oh, shit.
Is that a tiny room?
No, it's a big room.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, to our benefactor.
To our benefactor.
Yeah, to our benefactor.
It's really pretty cool.
It was very cool.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Asahi and Sapporo.
But it's really cool.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
We arrive finally at the lodge that we're staying at. That's Chris's place. And before we get to like reconnect and reestablish who this man is, we're introduced to a photo of him with a samurai sword.
This was a picture of a man holding a sword looking at us. You know, it almost seemed set up like it was some fucking horror movie.
And it's like when you walk in, it's just there to meet you.
And now we're definitely thinking, gonna get murdered. It's gonna happen.
Hello?
Hi.
Hey, what's up? How are you?
Good to see you. Yeah. Welcome. Fucking Jesus, they left you guys out.
Come on in.
Welcome to Lake Zor. Hi. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, good to see you. Hey, buddy, how are you?
brother?
Yeah, how's life, man? Yeah, good to see you.
And once he walked in the door, we all kind of went, oh, that's Chris. Now I remember. Oh, he's not gonna kill us. We'll be fine.
Because it was still like, who is this Chris Peck?
Yeah.
They know the other Chris Peck a little, you know, like in turn.
He's gonna have you there, and he's gonna hunt you. And that was the whole thing.
Oh, that is awesome.
And it was this regular, ordinary dude. Funny. And the camaraderie just kind of came together naturally. It was like you were put at ease.
None of our friends and family believed us.
Right.
Like, they're just like, why would he do this?
Right,
like,
right.
why is this isn't, it's great, but.
I wouldn't have sent you that unless it was 100% gonna happen.
Right.
I kind of followed you guys on Instagram, and I remember maybe a talent show
There
or
was a
some
talent
band
show,
night
right.
at the high school that you guys played. I was like, oh, that's cool. That was really it.
Chris Peck remember us playing in bands and that we were musicians, you know? And I know that from my Instagram account, he could see that I still played.
You just missing one seat?
He's just one of the guys that remembered it and kind of got nostalgic about it. I don't know. I can't explain it. But I hope this guy understands what he's given us, because it is generous beyond imagination.
I think the heavens are going to open. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I think the weather's not going to be as bad as reported.
Here we are. We roll up to the show. It's rainy. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere.
We rolled out and the weather was shitty and I don't think it was well attended, you know, at all. And we're like, okay.
I thought it would be dark, smelly, what we're used to, where I'd be able to like hide in the shadows in MFP on stage.
It wasn't like a big rock and roll venue, you know, with lights and a big stage above everybody, you know, and I think that was probably the best option for us. Being American, being dipshits, and wheeling out these songs from the 1990s.
And we were playing with other bands. And you're like, Jesus, these bands are amazing. We were certainly the weakest link in that chain, you know. But green means go. When it started, you know, we fucking went at it.
Okay, we are MFP. Where we came to play for all of you. Thank you.
The crowd was into it. It was a party atmosphere. I think there was no doubt in that room that we were doing something special to us, and we were pleased to be there. And that's all I could hope for.
It went about as good as an MFP show goes. Nothing changes. Nothing changes with age or wisdom or skill level. It just went right back to how it always is, which is just me getting lost in the middle of a song quickly, like 30 seconds into the song, lost.
It was a little bit anticlimactic, to be honest, but you know, it was more people than I thought we would have in Japan, since no one there knows us. I think we played all right.
So
We play well. We play better than we ever have. We're bonded through music. There's a deep emotional connection. So to have that presence and energy in the room, it's like, wow, this sounds great. But I think it was beyond how it sounded. We're together as some like brotherhood.
Have a good time. Keep drinking.
Everybody wants to be uninhibited and be the person that they're always supposed to be, or want to be. Music became something that not only gave me an identity, it gave me purpose. And nobody can take this away from me.
Thinking back on it now, that I realize that it's the impetus. Yeah, it was the most important thing. It was the start. It changed the way I thought about how you can navigate the world. It was music, and it was with these guys.
Damien and I had spent our entire childhood growing together and developing in music, and finally getting this random idea to a real thing was an achievement. And just as we reached that point, I graduated high school and life changed. And the band couldn't exist. Our lives were different all of a sudden. That's it. That was the end of childhood, really.
Everybody's changing, but I know that me and Damien will always be the same. And we'll always be there for you, the American watcher, because we stand for truth, justice, and the American way. God bless America.